Hey, daughter. Hey, everybody. It's Mother Teresa here. I'm trying to give you a little bit of time to come on in, share the live with your friends, with the people that are on your friend list, your followers, those that you follow, those that follow you. Share the live. Share the live, everybody. All right, everybody. It's time to grandstand. It's Tuesday night, 7:07. I'm a little bit late, but that music was sounding really, really good. So I had to let it play a little while longer. If you all don't know by now, if this is your first time joining me, I'm Mother Teresa, actually the other Mother Teresa from East Texas, that is. Nacogdoches is my hometown. And the music that you was hearing on tonight is In the Meantime by TJ Culpepper, my grandson. So if you like that music, put a heart in the chat. Let me know that you like the music. Hey there, mama. Or just put some hearts in there and just let me know that you like the music. Well, okay, so we are back for another grandstand. I see my honey is here and we are ready to talk about what we're going to talk about on tonight. Okay, put it back on. Okay. All right. So, honey is helping me out. Okay. Thank you, honey. Does that sound better? Okay. All right. So, on tonight, listen, everybody, we're going to be talking about something that we all can do, and hopefully you can do it well. I've been told that I do this very well, not only my business, but other people's business as well. So, we're going to talk about minding your business. Minding your business. Now, my daughters, I have to tell you that my daughters, they will often tell me, that I am good at minding other people's business. They say that I am nosy. But this is what I always tell my girls is that that's my job. That's what I get paid to do. And they pay me very well to mind other people's business. So I try to be an expert in minding other people's business. Okay. So, and as well as minding my business. Now, for some of you all, not too long ago, there was a topic of discussion. We were told to do what? Drink your water and mind your business. Okay. So if you haven't had your water in the last hour, go ahead and get your sip of water. Because we're going to do some business minding tonight. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. All right. I know that grammar was not correct? But we're going to talk about something that will set you free. I know the Bible talks about setting a person being made free, and but we're going to talk about something that can set us free. You know, sometimes, and this is I'm kind of making it a little bit comical on tonight because that's what my job is. This is what I do for a living. I am a licensed social worker, but I also, I also, I'm a professional counselor, mental health provider, and my job as an administrator is to help students who are in crisis. Okay. So, one of the things that I get a chance to do every single day is to help ensure that young people, as well as maybe their family members or whomever, but it's mostly the young people that are in our school district, that they are doing well mentally, emotionally, that they're doing well. Hello there, Latasha. I am so glad that you are on here tonight. And I see Miss Crawford on here. I am so glad that you all are on tonight. Thank you for joining me. So, we're going to talk a little bit about minding your business. And we're going to also talk a little bit about how it is so easy to get caught up in the distractions of life. And when I say that, I'm talking about the gossip, I'm talking about the drama, all of the things that will get you caught up if you are not careful. Sometimes we can start scrolling on that Facebook, you all, and we can start scrolling and we see something, and then it takes us to where we're going to go back, and now we got to do some cross referencing. We got to do some other things and all of that. Thank you. You're so very welcome, Latasha. So we just started going on a rabbit trail. Now you know I tell you all I can go down a rabbit trail really good, but sometimes what happens is that we get so fixated on other people's lives and what's going on in their lives that we're not taking care of. My husband, his favorite thing to say, you all, is I stay in my own lane and I mind my own business. And I just laugh at him every time he says that. Matter of fact, he told me that when I walked in the house this evening, that he was minding his business. And I said, yes, until you're trying to mind mine. And so that is his favorite thing, is that he minds his own business. But let me just get back to what I was saying, is that, you know, we can be very comfortable with minding other people's business, and we can get so very, do you know who I am? I'm Amaya's sister. I miss my sister. I'm 20 now, and I would love to see you all. Oh, okay. All right. Well, listen, before, please inbox me, Miss Crawford. I can't pronounce your first name, but inbox me and let me know how to get in contact with you, and I will try to put you in contact with Maya. Okay. Um, we can get so very comfortable in minding other people's business that we get distracted, or it distracts us, or takes us away from taking care of our own business. Now, let me just say this. There are sometimes that there are things that we are trying to escape. We are trying to escape. Okay. All right, I got it. Yes. We can try to escape some of the things that's happening in our lives because guess what? We don't want to deal with it. So if we don't deal with the things that's happening in our own lives, we can immerse ourselves in what's happening either in the lives of our children, the lives of our family members, the lives of even some of our coworkers. We've become so very busy minding other people's business that we just let whatever that's festering over here in our lives, we just allow it to just fester. And you know why? Because we don't want to deal with it. We don't want to deal with the stuff and the baggage that is causing us to be either in a state of depression, or we just don't want to deal with it, you all. And sometimes we have pushed that thing off for so long to, guess what? It has become such a big, huge issue now that you don't even know where to start. Okay. Um, Sometimes we can get so immersed in other people's business. And sometimes these are people that we don't even know, you all. We can get so caught up on either people that's on social media, different, even movies that we're watching, that we're beginning to lose sleep. We're not sleeping, we're not resting because guess what? We're worried about what somebody else is doing. And I heard my daughter say something today, my baby daughter. She was saying something about someone disturbing her peace. And if they are disturbing her peace, then she is not going to, first of all, she's not going to allow them to do that. And so she has learned to isolate those people or insulate herself away from people who will disturb her peace. So sometimes, let me just tell you, like I said about that distraction trap. Sometimes the enemy will will get us so off track that our peace is disturbed. That's where I was going. And when our peace is disturbed, then we're not able to function. Now, she's a mother of 4 young children. Okay. So I don't need her peace to be disturbed. I need her to be fully functioning and functionable and being able to take care of her kids. So if those people or if things are getting her off track, then I agree. Make sure that you're minding your own business and don't let other people come in and start distracting you. But let me just also say this. While you're out minding other people's business, and like I said, I'm going to kind of put a little twist on it. While you're out minding somebody else's business, who's minding yours? Who is actually minding your business? And the answer is no one. So when we talk about, as I was talking on last week, about childhood trauma and healing and the things that we have not dealt with, um, one of the reasons that we haven't dealt with those things is because we have pushed it off so to the back burner because we don't want to deal with it, or we're in somebody else's business, and a lot of times people will say that that when you're minding other people's business, or there was a song, I'm sorry y'all, here goes the rabbit trail, about sweeping around your own front door before you try to sweep around mine. How many of you all have heard that song? And does that really make sense? Yes, absolutely it does. I'm so busy trying to sweep around somebody else's door. Hey, Miracle, I see you here. I'm so busy trying to sweep around somebody else's front door that my front door, my back door, my side door, my garage door, every door is covered with stuff that I can't even get out of my house. But yet I'm trying to sweep around somebody else's door. And I'm saying that I'm not just talking about a physical thing, but I'm talking about an emotional thing. I'm talking about a thing that when you're talking about messing and meddling in other people's business. First of all, people get hurt. People can get hurt because of that, you know. And it's a way when we start meddling in other people. This is the point I really want to drive home to you all tonight. Is that when we get so caught up in meddling in other people's business, it's a way that we avoid dealing with our own business and our own healing. Okay. Let me just say this. God doesn't give us the grace for other people. Hello there. Hello there, my good doctor. He doesn't give us the grace to handle other people's business. He gives us the grace to handle our own. And when I'm talking about this, I'm talking about this in a manner when I'm talking about our personal things, our family things, okay? And so we've got to make sure when you start thinking about whose business are you tending to today, make sure that it's your own business, okay? And I know that this subject can be rather touchy because, like I said, I consider myself an expert in minding other people's business. Like I said, that's my job. That's part of what I do is I help other people to be able to handle their own emotional things. And the people in my department, that's part of what we do, is that we help people to be able to, first of all, we're holding space for them, and we're helping them to be able to get to the point where they can handle their own. So you got to be able to understand that there is different categories. Now here I go, y'all. There are different categories to minding other people's business. Okay, so one of the things that I would like to say is that we have to be very careful that when we are standing in the gap for somebody and we're holding space for somebody may have asked you to pray for them, and they are sharing with you some of their business because they need some assistance, okay? They need some assistance and they want you to be able to pray for them, pray with them. Now, because they shared with you some of their business, that doesn't mean that you're going to take it and you're going to share it with somebody else. No, they came to you in the strictest of confidence, and they need you to go to God for them and with them, and to maintain what they have shared with you. Maintain that confidentiality, that they came to you in confidence that you're going to keep it. Now, let me just tell you, if you're the type of person that if somebody is coming to you and they're asking you to agree with them for whatever, and before you can get back to, or they can get back to whatever, then they've heard it all across town. Guess what? They're not going to come back to you. At least I wouldn't. I wouldn't do that. So when we also have to understand that we serve a God of order. Okay, and so again, when somebody trusts you or somebody entrusts you with their secrets, that's exactly what they're hoping, is that you would keep that. But let's get back to the not minding our own business. Remember, I said we're going to drink our water and we're going to mind our business. Okay. But let me just go back and say that when we are minding our business, it's not being selfish. My daughter, I shared with you all earlier that she said she is learning to put people not necessarily at a distance because she's being mean. It's not being selfish, but she has a great responsibility. And I like to, Chase tells me that I don't know if it's Superman, but it's somebody that says, with great with great power comes great responsibility. And I remind him of that. With great power comes great responsibility, even if it's coming from a TV show or whatever. But you got to remember, you're not being selfish. It's called stewardship. Okay. You're minding your business. You're minding, like somebody said, the business that pays you. You're minding your own business. You're taking care of your family. You're trying to get yourself together. I was listening to someone earlier today, and they were saying that we don't have much time, you all. We don't have time to be doing this and to be doing that and to be just worried about what's going on over there, worried about what's going on over here. We need to be worried about what's happening at your own house, your own household, your own internal place of being, your own self, okay? And in addition to your own physical address, okay? Because guess what? If Boris and I can take care of what's happening at 3010, we don't have time to be taking care of what's happening at 3012. First of all, that's none of our business. Okay. And sometimes we can get so caught up into minding other people's business that it puts us in a situation, like I said, that it can become dangerous. It can become dangerous. People don't want you in their business. People don't want you looking out for them sometimes, because sometimes people, especially in the day in which we live now, sometimes people think that you're trying to focus on your own household. You're absolutely right, Miracle. Sometimes people think that you're being nosy because you're after something. They think that you're trying to, hey, May, they think that you're trying to get something from them. So you're peeping in their household, or you're scrolling, their Facebook, or you're doing whatever, is because you're trying to be nosy and you're trying to see what's going on in their lives so you can really have something to talk about. Okay? That's not what we want to be doing, okay? Cuz I guarantee you I have enough going on in my life that I do not have time to be worried about anybody else's, okay? I talked about the front door. I talked about, sweeping around your own door and doing all those things. And I was watching, my husband and I, we watch a um, Kelly, um, Kelly All Day. I think that's what it's called. And that may not be the correct name, but it's Kelly and France and their family. And one of the things that they're always doing is working out in their yard. And so the other day, France is the husband. He was pulling the weeds out of his garden where his I think it was plums or berries or something like that. He was over there pulling those weeds out of there. And just think about this. What if his neighbor decides to come over and starts pulling the weeds from his flower bed, from his garden? That is not something you would typically see somebody doing unless they are paying you for to take care of their lawn care. So that would be very inappropriate, right? Right. So listen, we don't need to be pulling the weeds from somebody else's garden. Because guess what? If when I look out the window from right here, and I thank God our yard guy was just here recently and did a fantastic job with cutting down the shrubberies. But there's weeds that even though he was here not too long ago, there are probably weeds that have already started growing up. So if I need to go and do some gardening, guess where I need to start? I need to start at 3010. I don't need to go next door. Okay. I need to start at my own place, taking care of my own business. And so I want to just kind of go back, and I know my time is just about up. I just want to just remind you all is that minding your business, it's about freedom, it's about focus, and it's about fruitfulness. Okay. When we talk about being good stewards, we can talk about being good stewards, and a lot of times people think that that just means money, but that doesn't just mean money. That means a lot of different things. Always remember the importance of self care. Thank you, honey. I just had this conversation with Randy last night about our nosy neighbor. All right, Miracle. So you see how the neighbors are so, sometimes you all, the neighbors know every step that we are making, taking, and whatever. We have a neighbor that is a kind of right across the way, and her door, she has a glass patio door. And a lot of times you may see her standing there. She may be looking. Now, she never says anything to anybody, but, and she's retired, I'm quite sure. But she's the neighborhood watch person, maybe. I don't know her. I don't know her business. I'm just saying. But, it appears that she is just watching the neighborhood. But absolutely right, Miracle. Sometimes we have neighbors that are so very nosy. And I think we all need to take the stance that my husband says is that I mind my own business. I stay in my own lane. So I don't have to worry about nobody saying anything crazy to me about me being in their business. Because we try to mind our own business. And when we start thinking about how that affects us and how that would give us peace. Because, see, the other thing we're trying to do, we're trying to protect our peace. And you can't protect your peace if you're always in somebody else's business. Okay? You're not going to have any peace. You're going to be all upset. You're going to be all in an uproar. And guess what? That was none of your business in the first place. Leave it alone. Go to bed at night. Stop trying to stay up and see and watch out and see who's coming and who's going and who's coming in this house and tipping out that house. Go to bed. Get some sleep. Get some rest. What I'm going to do after I get off this live probably tonight, is I'm going to bed. I'm going to get some sleep. And I could care less about what's happening next door. Okay. Now, let me just tell you, now, back in the day, now my mom is on here. Whew, I think I got my head start early, you all. You all know my story, the ones that's been here with me for a long time, that you've followed me any length of time. You all knew that I grew up in Oak Hill Plaza, the projects. And so, in one of the things, of course, as a young kid, one of the things that what would happen is that, of course, there was always going to be something going on in Oak Hill Plaza. You may have the police, you may have the ambulance, you may have the fire trucks, you may have just all kinds of things that's going on. And so, our job, I felt like it was my job, was whenever there was an ambulance or a police or anything that was in the neighborhood, me and the neighbor, my downstairs neighbor, we were going to go and see what was happening, you all. We were being nosy. I told y'all I started this a long time ago. We were going to go and find out what was happening so then we could come back and we could tell the people, our families, what was happening in the neighborhood. But let me just tell you, that was a dangerous thing. That was a very dangerous thing because as a young girl, guess what? We're running and we're being nosy and we're trying to see what was happening. And at a time, Miracle laugh. Miracle don't laugh at me because my girls are probably saying, Mama, you don't have to tell that. But yeah, living in Oak Hill Plaza, and I'm just gonna deviate a little bit. It was at the beginning, it seemed like it was a really safe place to live. But the longer that we stayed there, and as the people began to change, the community changed. It was a very, I would say, good community of people and families who were looking out for one another. We knew we were only there for a temporary period just to kind of get up on our feet and then get out of there. But as the community began to change, it became dangerous. So with me and this my other neighbor running to see what was going on, that was very dangerous because people, now people will just shoot you. They don't care that you are a kid. They don't care about any of that. So even though, like I said, I did those things as a young child, listen, the police can come, the ambulance can come. Listen, if they're not coming to here, that's outside. That's whatever. But you've got to remember what I was saying is that when we are so busy in other people's business, you all, we're letting our own business kind of, we're not taking care of our business. And a lot of times for some, that is intentional. That is intentional because we're not ready to deal with all of the things that could be very hurtful, the trauma, like I said, that we haven't healed from, the grief. We're not ready to deal with it. So, guess what we do is we put other things in its place. And as we're putting those other things in its place, it keeps us from having to deal with our own stuff. But I'm going to challenge you on tonight as I'm getting ready to get off. I want to challenge you all to really take the time this week to really focus on the things in your life that you have not dealt with. Okay. I need you to mind your business. I need you to mind your business so you can get some peace in your mind. Okay. There is a peace. There is a peace that God gives us. And there also is a directive in the Bible that says that we can cast all of our cares on Him, for He cares for us. So when you're busy not minding your business because you don't want to deal with the things that have happened in your life, either as a child or some of the things that you're even dealing with as an adult, just know that if you need somebody to stand alongside of you while you're trying to deal with your business, God is our answer. He is our refuge. He is our strength. And anything that we are dealing with, anything that we are going through, there is nothing absolutely nothing that is too hard for God. There's nothing too hard and there is nothing too easy. We just have to make sure that we give him an opportunity to take care of it for us. Okay. And sometimes we are so busy trying to take care of every single thing on our own that we don't give God an opportunity to do it for him to do it. And as he is doing the things that he does, I heard a word today and it told me to take a seat. Take a seat. If I'm standing and I'm trying to do everything that is God's job, I'm not leaving him any space to work. So I need to take a seat and let God stand up. Stand up in my life, in every area of my life. That's in my finances, that's in my spiritual walk, that's in my mental, my emotional, my every area of my life. I need to take a seat and let God do the work that only he can do. And when you do that, I guarantee you that not only will you be minding your business, you won't have time to be trying to mind anybody else's business, okay? All right. Listen, it has been great grandstanding with you all on tonight. I always enjoy grandstanding with whoever comes on. If you're catching the replay, just know that there is going to be many, many opportunities over the next week or so to catch little bitty snippets of what I'm talking about on tonight. First of all, how many of you all are enjoying the little snippets that you're getting throughout the course of the week? I have been trying to make sure that I am giving you all little bitty nuggets of the Tuesday night grandstanding with Mother Teresa. So I'm just pushing them out there every single day. So you're probably getting about 4 clips a day of the previous grandstanding. If they have been a blessing to you, Mama, how do you keep people out of your business? Okay, I didn't see that question. You keep people out of your business by sometimes you got to be a little bit tight mouth about what your business is. Because, see, sometimes people will get in your business because they have ulterior motives. Some people get in your business because, and I know that they think, first of all, that you don't know how to handle your business. And if they don't think you know how to handle your business, then guess what? Somebody is always willing to step in and try. That's not always the case, though. Some people are so intimidated by the business that you are minding that they are just looking for an opportunity to do something evil. And let me just tell you, those are the people that you definitely want to keep out of your business. Sometimes you can't keep them out, but when you begin to realize that people are stepping into an unsafe space, we all have to know how to get people out of our business. One of the things that I pray is I ask God to season my words with grace. Give me the grace to be able to say what I need to say without causing harm, without causing any type of conflict, but give me what to say in order to keep people out of my business. But not only keep them out of my business, but also to let them know where I stand. Okay. And if you do that, and I know God will definitely give us the grace to do that. When will you do another live on TikTok? I may do that tonight, Miracle. I may actually do that tonight. So if I jump back on here a little bit later on, y'all just jump right back on with me, because what we'll do is we'll do part 2 of how to mind your business. Okay. I hope that answered you all's questions on tonight. And listen, I have enjoyed grandstanding with you all. If you have enjoyed grandstanding with Mother Teresa and minding your own business, just put some hearts in the comments. Just let me know that you're enjoying this. Share it out. Share the live with someone. If you're not a subscriber on this channel, please become a subscriber. Like, follow, share. Go to Facebook, go to TikTok, go to Instagram. do all of those things, like, follow, share, and then share it with somebody. Okay. Share this live with somebody. Put it on your page and just say, hey, if you haven't been tuning in on Tuesday nights at 7 o'clock, you're really missing a treat. Okay. And again, like I said, I am not, oh, there you go. I'm minding my business and drinking my water. That's what I told them earlier, Dr. Remnick. That's what they need to be doing, is drinking their water and minding their business. Listen, I realize that I am not for everybody, and that is absolutely okay. But for the people that I am, this is what you're needing. I want you all to stay tuned, because there's going to be some other things that's going to be coming really, really soon, where you can get this type of encouragement every single day delivered to your cell phones. So stay tuned. We've got some announcements that's coming up really, really soon. Um, and again, thank you, Miracle. Miracle, you are one of my greatest supporters. So I appreciate you all so very much. So just like we always do as we are leaving, as my sister Cynthia says, good night, grandstanders. We will see you all on the next time. Y'all, my honey is over here rocking. I ought to flip this camera around real quick. He'll probably run out of the room. Thank everyone for joining me on tonight. Don't let it be your last time. Come back and be with me on next week. Y'all, my honey is playing with these lights in here. All right, everybody. Y'all have a good night. And we will see you all on next week. If the Lord says the same. Y'all make it a great night. Bye-bye, grandstanders.